John and Sarah were happy. They had been dating for 2 years. 2 years of laughter, shared dreams, and a love that felt unbreakable. John believed he had found his soulmate in Sarah. They lived together in a cozy apartment in the city. Life was good. One ordinary Tuesday evening, John was home alone, cooking dinner. Sarah was at her weekly pottery class. He was chopping vegetables, humming along to the radio when the phone rang. Caller ID showed it was Sarah. He smiled, expecting to hear her sweet voice. "Hey babe, you on your way home?" John asked, wiping his hands on a dish towel. A voice that sounded exactly like Sarah's, yet subtly different, colder, replied, "I'm already here, John. Why are you doing this to me?" John froze, the hairs on the back of his neck standing on end. That didn't sound like Sarah, it sounded like someone imitating her. His heart began to pound in his chest. John cautiously walked to the window, peering down at the street below. A yellow taxi was parked in front of their building. He watched as a woman emerged from the back seat. It was Sarah. She wore the familiar floral dress she had on that morning. Her long blonde hair cascaded over her shoulders. It was her, but something felt off. John rushed down the stairs, his mind racing. He burst out of the building, his eyes fixed on Sarah. She was paying the driver, her back to him. He opened his mouth to speak, but the words caught in his throat. "Sarah?" John whispered, his voice trembling. "What's going on?" "You know exactly what's going on," she spat, her voice dripping with venom. "Don't play dumb with me." John was speechless. This wasn't his Sarah. His Sarah was upstairs, molding clay with her delicate hands, her laughter echoing through the pottery studio. This woman, this imposter, was a chilling imitation, a twisted reflection. "Sarah, it's me, John," he pleaded, taking a step closer. "What are you talking about?" The woman slapped him hard across the face. The impact sent a jolt of pain through his cheek. "Don't lie to me," she screamed, her voice raw with rage. She threw her purse at him, the contents spilling onto the sidewalk. John stood there, stunned and bewildered, as she jumped back into the taxi and slammed the door shut. "Wait!" John cried out, his hand outstretched. He watched in disbelief as the taxi sped away into the city night. His mind struggled to process what had just happened. It felt like a nightmare, but the stinging sensation on his cheek told him otherwise. As John bent down to gather the scattered contents of Sarah's purse, he felt a pair of arms wrap around him from behind. He froze, a wave of terror washing over him. It couldn't be. The taxi had just driven away. "John," a familiar voice whispered in his ear. It was Sarah, her voice soft and warm. He turned around slowly, his heart pounding in his chest. Standing there was Sarah, her eyes wide with concern, her touch gentle and familiar. It was her, his Sarah. "John, what's wrong?" "You look like you've seen a ghost," she said, her brow furrowed in worry. John couldn't speak. He just stared at her, his mind reeling. He had just seen her drive away in a taxi filled with rage. He had seen the hatred in her eyes, felt the sting of her slap. "Sarah," he finally choked out, his voice barely a whisper. I just saw you drive away." The following days were a blur of confusion and fear. John couldn't shake the feeling that something sinister had occurred. He reviewed the security footage from their building, but the cameras had malfunctioned that evening, showing only static. He filed a police report, but they dismissed it as a case of mistaken identity. Sarah, oblivious to the encounter, tried to comfort John, but his terror was contagious. Their once happy home was now shrouded in an unsettling silence, their laughter replaced with hushed whispers and wary glances. John couldn't escape the chilling truth. He had seen his beloved Sarah, filled with an anger he couldn't comprehend, and then, moments later, she was back, her usual loving self, completely unaware of the terrifying doppelganger that had taken her place. The incident remained a haunting mystery, a chilling reminder of the unknown that lurked beneath the surface of their reality. John and Sarah tried to move on, but the experience left an indelible mark on their lives, a constant whisper of doubt that they couldn't silence.